Hello everybody, this is Kern from Home Recording Weekly. I hope you're having a good day. I know I am. Today I finally got my hands on the new plugin from Slate Digital. This is the VMR, the Virtual Mix Rack. Guys, right now it's going for $149. That's a steal because you get two of the most sought after mixing EQs, and you get two, definitely one of the most used compressors if you were to ask me, but you get two compressors, and then you get another unit here, the Revival. It's kind of like a sonic maximizer, and then some more. This thing is awesome. It's delicious. We're going to look at it. I don't want to get too in depth into what all these knobs do. Maybe I'll do a video later on. Just know I've been trying to find an SSL style EQ for a long time, but I haven't been able to get my hands on one. You guys know I'm disabled. I got hurt in the Gulf War, and I can't afford the wave stuff, and I've been staying away from splurging because you really don't need it. And yet one of the EQs is this SSL style EQ. So, I mean, if you ask me, this is worth $149 all by itself. Being able to move this stuff around in any order you want to move it around in, you can, it's unbelievable. You get an 1176 style compressor. You get a very nice compressor here. I'm not really sure what this one is. What I do know is I like the way the attack and the release works on this. Super fast or super slow. It's got two different circuits, and you can use the when you click on this transformer, it just gets so warm-like. It's amazing. Two amazing compressors. You get two amazing EQs. This other one is like a British style. I want to say like a Neve, and it really warms up when you bring the volume up. Low pass filter, high pass filter here. I'm sorry. It's got bell filter. I mean, they're amazing. And this is really good for a well recorded source, maybe for mastering too. But this is the EQ that I really like right here. And this compressor, those steal the show. Everything else is sugar on top, and I've used them all, and I want to show you what I have today, what I use these on, and then I'm going to bypass them and let you guys hear what I've done. And again, I got this today. I could not wait to get to work, put this thing through the paces. I'm just getting to learn to use it. I still don't know what everything does, but I'm getting there real quick, and I just want to show you the difference that it makes. I simply opened up a brand new session and I imported some tracks that I needed. I have some drum tracks that I didn't track. They're from a membership site that I belong to, The Mix Academy. It's their first song. I don't have all the drums here. I got rid of the hi-hat and the ride. I do have some loops here and some other things. Also, I have a parallel drum compression track going on, same for the bass, and we can go through all that later. I just want to do a quick before and after, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a snippet, pause the video, and bring it back. So the before is going to be with all of the Steven Slate stuff on, and the after is going to be without. Do know that I have the Slate rack over here on, and I'm going to lower that down. That sounds about right. So I have the virtual bus compression on as well. So if things sound, you know, I don't know. A lot of people don't like the sound of a bus compressor. You know, you got to know what you're doing to really hear that. And you know, I can hear it if I turn it off and on, but just know that's on as well. That's from Steven Slate, and it's awesome. I do have a room reverb here from IK Multimedia. That's not a Slate product, but everything else, if it's a track here, I have two things going. I have the virtual channel and I have the virtual mix rack on, and I have one or two modules from all of them on every track. Please know I had I'm having issues with my computer. I need to buy some memory. As you can see, it's being really hinky now. This stuff is not processor heavy. Some of the stuff I have going on is as well as my routing, and it's hogging my CPU, I think. So I know I need to get new memory. I mixed a song the other night, and it was clicking and going crazy. So anyway, let's do the before and after. This is the before. Now what I would like to do, I'm going to go ahead and mute the bass, and I'm just going to do the drums, and I'm going to bring this back so that just the bass is muted. And what I'm going to do is push play and let you hear just the drums and without any processing at all. And then I am going to make sure all of the Slate stuff and only the Slate stuff on every single track. I have the virtual channel and the virtual mix rack on every single channel, and to some extent or another, and we'll listen to that, and then we'll see what it is that I'm doing in depth. So here is just dry the way I opened it, no Slate. Yeah, that's pretty darn incredible. Granted, everything has been EQ'd and compressed, and that's what you do when you mix anyway. I'm not saying just putting Slate stuff on your tracks makes it sound amazing. That would be crazy. What I will say is I did this probably in 30 minutes or less. This stuff is well laid out. It works extremely well. And we're 8 minutes in. Let me go ahead and show you some of the stuff that I really found helpful. And this is on the kick. I know it is the in kick because I put this revival on there and I brought up some of the bottom end because my kick had a bottom end that was muddy. So I'm going to solo this kick and we're going to dive in and see exactly what I did and how these things work. These tracks are amazing. They're like you would get in a real mix session. I'm enjoying them. There's mic bleed, but they're well recorded. You're going to get that stuff anyway. Okay, as you can see, I went for the SSL style. It's called the FG-S, the Brit 4K EQ. There's a low pass, or high pass, I'm sorry, I get those confused all the time. And then there's a low frequency area, a low mid frequency area, high, and then a high frequency. Now please know this is your volume. When it's in the center like this, you're not adding or subtracting anything. To the right you're adding. If you go this way, you're subtracting. This is your Q. How wide or how narrow, do you want a notch filter, or do you want like a nice bell? So please know what I did was I went through and I listened to this kick drum and I said, oh my God, there's something happening around 200 hertz. I didn't like it. I took it out. It looks like I took 100 hertz and I boosted it just a skosh. It looks like I turned up around 4.23K, pretty broad. Just turned it up, just a skosh, plus 2 dB. Whoa, that's quite a bit actually. And then it looks like I removed some of the highs because I said there was some snare bleed or some hi-hat bleed coming in. Listen real close. I didn't want that coming into my mix. So when I turned that on, you heard that stuff. It didn't go away. It just got duller. And I think I removed some of that cardboard sound. Listen. Hear how it sounds like you're hitting a box? Now that I turn that on, it goes away. Let me do that again. It's very subtle. I hope you can hear what I'm telling you. Again, I like this EQ because it makes finding treble frequencies very easy. Granted, I need a lot of practice at doing that, but I was able to do it very quickly with this EQ, the FG-S. It's a jewel. It's amazing. And let me tell you, this plugin is a steal. I am a huge Steven Slate fanboy. It's true. I've got most all of their stuff, but I just wanted this so much for this EQ, and this compressor is amazing. The FG401, it's out of this world. I'm already fallen in love with this for many things. And this revival, it's crazy what it does, and it's very cool. And we're gonna get to this in just a second. First, let's look at this compressor and why I like it. I like the fact that I can just dial in the ratio and I can watch the needle bounce as I move the attack and release. Another thing with, I'm just going to bring this over here, this 1176 dial. Over here you see the attack and release, there's a 1 and a 7, and it's misleading. You'd think the 1 is fast and the 7 is slow or something like that, and they're just the opposite of what you think, and I get confused and I have to watch the needle, and I'm so happy to see fast and slow on the attack and the release. Believe me, it doesn't do anything for the sound. It means that I need that in my day to speed my workflow up, and thank you, Steven Slate, for putting that in there. Another thing is this transformer in button. It's very subtle, but it seems to add glue, and it warms up whatever you do. If you don't want that kind of subtle breaking up character that you can sometimes get if you work a compressor too hard, then you probably don't want that in. Even if you don't use compression and you turn that on, it adds something, and it's warming. And I know it's all digital and I'm using words like warm, but believe me, it's just awesome. It sounds great. Let me bring this in and out. As you can see, I have it on a 3-to-1 ratio. I'm letting that initial attack through, and then I'm hanging on to it with a pretty decent release, a little bit of makeup gain, and we're good to go. Keep in mind, both of these compressors, and here, this is huge. If you're into doing parallel processing, there's a mix knob right here. At 50%, you are totally not in series anymore. It's parallel processing. Amazing tool for mastering, and also for inline compressing. If you just don't want to compress at a whole 100%, you can bring it in any way you want. Once you wrap your head around what's possible with that, the world is going to be your oyster. You can get so creative with that. And also there's 2 circuits. Again, I've watched the videos on this and I understand the 2 different circuits. They sound different. I haven't dove in that much, so I'm not going to tell you that I understand anything about them or know anything about them, but listen to what this compressor brings to the table when I bring it in and out, and I've tried very hard to volume match it so that I don't throw you off with the volume. Here we go. That's without. That's with. That's without. With. It makes it sound like it's right in your face, like you've just gone in the drum room, like it's more exciting as well. That's what I'm getting from this, and I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. I'm not going to turn it up there. That would mislead you, wouldn't it? Now, I'm going to bring it out. This is out. You notice how everything gets louder, like the backbeat, the snare bleed, and all of that stuff. I'm bringing down that initial. I'm not really bringing the initial attack down. I'm lying. I'm bringing the body up. And it's really noticeable, and that's what I want. I want this thing to be more noticeable with the compression, and that's what I've achieved. I'm going to bypass it. No, I'm not. I'm going to bring the threshold down and just bring the transformer in and out. So I'm at minus 17.6. Okay, so I'm not compressing at all. I'm going to bring this knob in and out. The transformer. I can hear it going from sterile to not so sterile anymore. I think I was at 17.6, so something like that. That's what I just heard. It was sterile without it, and when I brought it on, it sounded like I was running it through a real transformer in a console. I don't know how these guys do that. It's voodoo. I don't know, but they did it. Now, believe me, this sounds terrific, and I left it like that for a while, and then I got thinking about this revival and how they included it, and I should show you something about it. So I got playing with it on different tracks, and I realized, I don't know what it is, but it definitely reminds me of how a sonic maximizer works. A sonic maximizer will make the lows work, kind of like it brings everything in phase and it lets all of the muddiness go away and it tightens things up. And it can do that for the top end too. It's really incredible how they work. So I tried it out on the kick, and I just want you guys to hear the difference. I'm going to turn this back up just like that so that you guys can hear what's going on when I bring this in and out. Oh, and I should say, you brought in some of the thickness, and you think it's just adding low frequencies to the kick, but it's not. It's cleaning up the mud and letting the low frequency information pass nice and clean and clear. It's like removing the socks from in front of your speakers and tuning things up. It's quite amazing. Here we go. This is bypassed, and then I'll bring it in. Bypassed. I noticed the bottom end sounds solid, centered, focused. It's amazing. Let's do this one more time. Bypass. Flimsy. Solid. Now that didn't add any low end at all, EQ wise or anything like that. It just focused the low end. Now, all by itself, that's not a big deal. It is what it is. You're probably thinking, yeah, that's pretty cool. But watch when I bring that in and out with the whole drum kit, and you'll understand why that is such a big deal, because it's gonna like let it cut right through. Here we go. I'll take my mic out of solo. It brings punch and a little bit of not breakup, but kind of a low-end clarity and punch to the kick that all of a sudden you could hear the kick in the whole drum kit. Amazing, amazing stuff. I don't know how they do this. It was incredible. And I didn't show you much on the FG-N or the 1176. There's videos out there that will show you guys all of that stuff. What I wanted to bring to the table here with this video is to show you that by just using three Slate plugins, I'm using the virtual mix rack, I'm using the virtual console collection, and I'm using the virtual bus compressor for all of this, the drum and bass. Granted, I'm doing a few techniques like parallel compression and things like that. I do that anyway with every, song that I mix. I just wanted to show you guys how quick, like I said, about 30 minutes to dial in an amazing sound on every track. And the plugins themselves sound so amazing, and you hear people say, "Oh, it sounds like analog, and it sounds warm." And I'm sitting here using it, and the words that are coming to my head are, "That sounds warm, and it sounds analog as I've ever heard it in my career." I'm sure we're all different, but you know what? This is what I got from 30 minutes of using the amazing new Steven Slate plugin called VMR.